hospital where my dad was staying in Boston. No one was told where we were going, and when we got there, we were told not to tell anyone where we were staying or who we were staying with.
Nice shot.
This was the beginning of the year that we disappeared.
What did you think of the police response? Chat now on Facebook and Twitter.
Suka, suka.
Kelly said, "This is the plan. I want you guys to go into the attic and hide in there. Do not come out of the attic until I come and get you or until your mom comes home. Don't come out for anybody else." All I could think was, we're gonna go up in the attic and this guy's gonna come looking for us. And we have to be so quiet and not move. It was hard to balance on the rafters. And I was in a nightgown and I didn't want to fall into the insulation, which was very prickly. So I was just trying to stay still really hard and not move or make a sound. And we just waited for whoever was gonna come up there.
The kids are in the attic. Guy's still knocking at the back door, not going away. And I remember thinking, what am I gonna do? The first thing I had to do was protect those children and make it look as though they weren't home, and if there was entry into the house, that I was the only one in the residence. I walked over to the window, which is right beside the door, and at that moment, the guy pulled out a police badge. He said he was a Falmouth police officer and that he was here to watch over John Busby's family.
We heard Kelly say, "He's a cop, it's okay, you can come down." And then once we heard that, we were like, okay, it's safe.
Throughout the evening, more police officers showed up to watch the home. And at that point, I realized that it just wasn't going to be okay the next day.
They were trying to get an airway down. They couldn't get it down, so they started giving him morphine. And I heard somebody say, "He won't go down. We can't get him to relax and get the airway in." One of the officers behind me, and I think it was Rick Smith, he said, "We have somebody at the house with the kids. We've got somebody there and others en route." And it was like you could see John just relax. He relaxed, he laid back, and they slipped an airway in. I really believe that John overwhelmed the doctors at the Falmouth Hospital. They'd never seen anything like that. They didn't know quite what to do. John looked like a monster. His beautiful, handsome face went right to here normal. And then it was like tissue had stretched and stretched and stretched. And right about here on his chest was his chin. There was no jaw. I wondered, how are we going to repair this? How are we going to put this back together? From the Falmouth Hospital, they took him by ambulance to Mass General Hospital. They reassured me that they'd gotten him there in enough time to keep him from bleeding out, but it would depend on how strong he was to come through the surgery.
Police in Falmouth today are looking for suspects who fired into the face of an officer there. 36-year-old John Busby was driving.
The morning after the shooting, we left to go stay with my uncle near the hospital where my dad was staying in Boston. No one was told where we were going, and when we got there, we were told not to tell anyone where we were staying or who we were staying with.
Nice shot.
This was the beginning of the year that we disappeared.
Police response. Chat now on Facebook and Twitter.
Suka.
I've never wanted to kill a couch more in my life. Get back here. Stop moving! Why are they so fast? Holy cow! Oh, that's terrifying.
We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. And if I do not for a moment believe,
Counter-terrorists win.
So yesterday, Pavlov got a massive new update, which I wasn't aware of at all. I thought Pavlov, with a main menu that looked like this, wasn't the type of game that was going to be continuously supported. So when I started up Pavlov and instead saw this, wow, I was sufficiently blown away. It was a real menu and it looked great. Plus, they added a whole bunch of things that say coming soon, so it looks like this is just the beginning. There's going to be more support, and I'm really happy because the core mechanics and gameplay of Pavlov have been spot on ever since I started playing, and adding more content is all that was left, and this is exactly what this update is.
Can I interest you in some lunch?
Now, if you're anything like me, you grew up playing Call of Duty set in World War II and watching old war movies and just generally being obsessed with PPSHs, MP40s, Thompsons, Lugers, STGs, M1 Garands.
This is going to be one of the most satisfying things that I'll do today.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
If you are like me in that sense, you owe it to yourself to try out this update. All of the guns look so incredibly good in VR, slapping the drum mag into a PPSH, watching the Luger flip up and down, racking the bolt back on a Thompson. It's just, honestly, this might sound stupid and honestly pretentious, but to a certain degree, it really does bring history to life, at least a little bit. They did such a good job with these weapons.
I'm dead on the floor. You okay?
But they didn't stop at the weapons. They also added tanks. Full-blown tanks. Oh no. Which have a seat for the machine gun, a seat for the driver, and a seat for the actual tank part. Machine gunner is pretty fun. Driving is really fun. But for the life of me, I cannot figure out how to operate the tank turret, and before you sprint down to the comments and tell me how it works, I just want to throw out there, in my first Pavlov video, I recorded myself racking the bolt back after reloading, even though the last mag was fully spent, so I was ejecting a good round out of the gun, and I am now reminded of that fact every single day, probably until I die. And I have a feeling that I would be learning how the tanks work for the rest of my life now too. But I swear, I've tried everything that my little smooth brain could think of.
Get out of there. Get out of there.
you can't tell me what to do.
You get out of there, you slippery son of a bitch.
You're not my supervisor.
Come here. Come here. How do I get
Stevenson, the third.
Here we go. You take that and you enjoy it. Oh shit!
I know I'll figure it out eventually, and regardless, running around burnt out buildings killing Nazis is fun with or without tanks. It's such a good feeling. It makes me feel so nostalgic for the old Call of Duties. And speaking of old Call of Duties, I've played the Zombies maps in Pavlov that are one-to-one COD Zombies replicas. They are absolutely insane to experience. It's like being teleported inside of your childhood memories, and they are that incredible with the base Pavlov guns. Now that we have the actual guns from World War II to put in the maps, the experience is complete. It will be a one-to-one, full-scale VR COD World at War Zombies game, and that is something in itself could sell as a standalone game. And it's just here in Pavlov. I'm so glad for this game.
How does this one work? What? Do I twist it? Did that arm it? Is this thing about to blow up?